Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
It's midday. A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. The news is also live on all affiliates across the 16 regions of the country. I am Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Coming up, 3 people including a 4-year-old girl reported dead after yesterday's flood in Accra.
Yes, Lakeside. We lost 2 people at Lakeside. We lost a 4-year girl at Nanakrom.
Oh, no.
And then a gentleman around New Legon.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Meteorological Agency is warning the public to anticipate more rainfalls in the coming weeks. Also coming up, government secures 450,000 barrels of light crude oil as part of measures to sustain reliable power supply in the country.
We've placed 450,000 barrels to replace that fuel. I mean, that was statistics. It's not like you gave the figures and said we are in trouble.
Still ahead, Minority Caucus on Parliament Finance Committee raises concerns over what it describes as a conflict of interest involving the committee's chairman Isaac Adongo, who also serves as a board member of the Bank of Ghana.
Finance Committee has oversight responsibility. And Honorable Adongo, of course, very competent, is the chair. And the same Honorable Adongo is also Bank of Ghana's board member. Definitely, nobody should tell us that. This is very conflict.
And later, Court of Appeal dismisses application by Chief Executive of defunct Men's Gold Ghana Limited, Nana Appiah Mensah, seeking to halt his criminal prosecution pending hearing of appeal on ruling, asking him to open his defense. All that and more on Citi Prime News, which is live on all affiliates across the regions. In the Western region, we are live on Premier FM 100.5 and Beach FM 105.5, both in Takrade. Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. Volta region, we are live on Holy FM 98.5 in Aplao. Northern region, we are live on Dasuma FM 99.1 in Yendi. Upper East, we are live on Word FM 88.3 in Zwarungu. And Upper West, we are live on Bugli Radio 88.6 in Wa.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for choosing us. Now, 3 people, including a 4-year-old girl, have died after heavy rainfall on Sunday triggered flooding in parts of the Adentan municipality. Affected areas include Lakeside, Nanakrom, New Legon, Amwahia, where several residents were left trapped in their homes. Emergency teams from NADMO, the Ghana Armed Forces, and the Fire Service were deployed to carry out rescue operations. Speaking on the City Breakfast Show, the Adentan Municipal Chief Executive Ella Esinam Nongo described the situation as one of the worst in recent memory and hinted at possible demolitions to address the recurring flooding.
As for the drains, trust me, we have enough. We have quite enough. But of course, we can still do more. But we have quite enough. But because people are building on the waterway, there's no exit for these waters.
Have you rescued everybody? Are there people still trapped as we speak?
This morning I had a call from a lady around Ashiye. So I can say that there are still a few people, but we did majority yesterday. Properties have been lost, lives. We've even lost lives as I speak to you. And lots of damages have been done.
Where did we lose a life? Are you able to elaborate?
Yes, Lakeside. We lost 2 people at Lakeside. We lost a 4-year girl at Nanakrom.
Oh, no.
And then a gentleman around New Legon.
And sometimes we feel like the assemblies don't have enough, whether it's officers or enforcement agents, but they have a large area to oversee.
We do have the capacity, because if the assembly is able to issue permits, we should be able to have that same capacity to either demolish or revoke their permits.
The MC also disclosed that road construction in the municipality has stalled due to the absence of contractors despite several awarded contracts. She indicated that the assembly will deploy its own machinery to undertake temporary road patching works.
Yes, but I didn't talk about roads because fortunately the drip machines that are here would also help in a way to make our roads a bit more travel. Most of the roads have been given out on contract. Contractors are not on site and all that, so we cannot wait for them forever. However, we can use the drip machines that we have now to make it a bit more travel. When we buy light and all that, we can just do a few patches and all that for the meantime.
Ella Isinam Nongo is the municipal chief executive for Adenton. Meanwhile, the Ghana Meteorological Agency is warning the public to expect more rainfall in the coming weeks. This follows heavy rains yesterday that led to flooding in several parts of Accra. Speaking on Channel 1 TV's Breakfast Daily, the head of the Central Analysis and Forecast Office, Felicity Ahafianyo, advised residents in flood-prone areas to relocate during the raining season.
Thank you. Yes, every part of the country is likely to have the experience that Greater Accra had yesterday. So some of the remedies or some of the recommendations that we are making is that, number one, is getting the forecast across to the populace so that they can make good use of it. Because if you know you are at the flood-prone area, like what happened yesterday, and we believe that those that got the information have advised themselves to move out. And as we all witnessed, NADMO came on board to place emergency numbers across board because they are on our list where we give them the information and then they make a decision on it. So then another way is that once you know you are at the flood-prone areas, or every year when it rains between now and June, you get floods, you need to advise yourself so that you can relocate. Then after the rain, you come back.
She also urged the public to regularly check weather forecasts on the Ghana Meteorological Agency's website and social media platforms.
In the near future.
Most definitely, we will do that. But in the meantime, where can people get such informations before it even comes out to, traditional TV? Can we get it on your websites, on your social media handles? Where can we access these informations?
Okay. From the GMET website, Ghana Meteorological Agency, we have a column there. You have the 3 times daily weather update. And then we have the weekly, the midweek, and the weekend. And we also have the seasonal forecast there. You can also link with us on our Facebook page. Every time also we update it every 6 hours. That is also there. And then you can also get to us on the Instagram, and then on YouTube, and then also on TikTok with Ghana Meteorological Agency. And then you get all this information readily available to you.
Felicity Ahafianyo is the head of the Central Analysis and Forecast at the Ghana Meteorological Agency. Let's go on the phone lines and speak to my colleague, Jude Mensah Duncan. Jude, thank you for your time. Yesterday on Channel 1 Newsroom, you reported from the Awodome area where there was flooding over there. What's the situation this afternoon as we speak?
Hello, Howard. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all our cherished listeners. The flooding situation in the Awodome area, specifically the Awodome Road that takes you all the way to the cemetery, and the Obechebi Lamte interchange, which was completely inundated with floodwater yesterday, seems to the floodwaters have seemed to receded now. The area is clear, but when the floodwater left, what we've seen is that it brought onto the road, I beg your pardon, filled, and that's the major challenge residents in the area have to deal with now. I went to the sub-metro to try and engage with some officials there, and from some explanation we've been given so far, it points to the fact that major drains in the area have been choked and yet to be desilted, and for each reason, we witnessed the devastating floods we saw here. Some residents I spoke to earlier also mentioned to me that this wasn't the case some few years ago, and it seems it keeps getting worse with each downpour, that happens in the area. I've been joined by a resident and also somebody who works in the area and is going to just briefly shed light on some of the concerns, they've been raising to me. Thank you so much for your time, Paul. Good morning and welcome to the Citi News Show.
Good morning, sir.
Great. Yesterday, you witnessed the flooding situation here. Today, the floodwater clearly has receded. Can you describe to us some of the challenges you've been facing each time there's a downpour here?
Yes. Normally, each time there's a heavy downpour here, a lot of flood occurring in this particular place. To be precise, I would domain roundabout, heading towards the cemetery. This flood occurs, or this heavy flood occurs normally because of how the gutters are choked, especially the gutters towards the cemetery on both sides, left and right. Most of the gutters heading towards the cemetery are choked due to silt. And then whenever there's a heavy downpour here, all the road will be covered with silt. And then any time, like not as heavy as yesterday's stuff, but any little heavy downpour, it's always a problem here.
So what do you want the authorities to do? I've been engaging the Member of Parliament. It's yet to agree for an interview, but clearly they are aware of the situation. What are your concerns? What do you want them to do with regards to the challenges you face here?
Precisely, the challenge are the blockage of the gutters. And it would be nice if you could remove the blockages. The field and the sand has blocked the gutters completely.
Interesting. Yes. So how are you? Have the Paul, who is a resident and also works here. Clearly, he wants the authorities, particularly the sub-metro, to work towards the silting the gutters. He tells me also that they don't mind getting involved in some communal labor to address the root concerns of the flooding situation that happens here. But this morning, it's quite clear, except for the filth that has engulfed some of the areas. And also, I must say, due to the heavy nature of the rains yesterday, some floodlights we see have been completely destroyed and on the ground. So that is also another thing to note. So we'll be trying to engage officials
very well.
When we get there.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. That was my colleague Jude Mensah Duncan reporting from the Awodome area. Let's go to one of the hardest hit areas in Accra, Adentan, where my colleague Fauzi Masaudu has been monitoring the situation. Fauzi, good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. What's the current situation at Adenta or Lakeside where you are? And let's clarify, where are you currently?
Okay, I'm currently at Adenta, precisely the Lakeside community, as you mentioned, but they call here Room 6. If you enter Lakeside, this place is called Room 6. Exactly. Once you enter this community, the situation is glaring. You don't even have to be told what is happening. Residents are counting their losses from shops to homes to vehicles. None of them have been spared of the brunt of yesterday's rains. I can count some shops numbering more than 20 that are scooping water out of their shops. Some are cleaning their belongings. We have grocery shops. We even have pharmacies that have lost their, items to this rain. They tell me that this is quite peculiar because, when we are talking about areas that are flood-prone, particularly within this community, they do not usually encounter this situation. And so they are confused like anyone else. And as of now, they are only waiting for a miracle to happen because they've lost so much. They are despaired and what have you, Hawa.
Very well, grateful for your time. Fauzi Masaudu is my colleague here at Citi FM and Channel 1 TV. Let's go to Kassoa's Iron City, where that is also one of the hardest hit areas in the central region. My colleague in the central region is Akwesi Ado. He joins us live via telephone. Akwesi, thank you for your time. What's the situation in Kassoa? We've lost my colleague, Akwesi, who is our central regional correspondent on the line. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Still to come, government secures 450,000 barrels of light crude oil as part of measures to sustain reliable power supply in the country. Details coming up shortly. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Calling all farmers, agribusinesses, and innovators, this is your chance to shine. Channel One TV invites you to exhibit at AgriFair 2025, one of Ghana's largest agriculture exhibitions. From Friday 20th to Sunday the 22nd of June, the A4 Sutherland Children's Park in Accra will come alive with the very best from Ghana's agribusiness sector. Are you a farmer with fresh produce of any kind? Be it crops, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture, or you're a supplier of agro inputs and processing machinery? This is your platform to connect with the world. AgriFair 2025 is more than an exhibition. Showcase your fresh produce, share your expertise and experience, and grow your business. So, to all farmers with fresh produce, livestock or poultry, fisheries or aquaculture products, come, sell, network, and expand your business. AgriFair 2025, where culture meets innovation. Register now to secure your spot. Call us on 0205 973 973. Come one, come all. Enjoy the freshest farm produce at unbeatable prices. And treat yourself to sizzling kebabs made from beef, mutton, pork, chicken, and more. Great taste, great value. Don't miss out. The AgriFair 2025 is powered by Channel One TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM and is proudly sponsored by Exim Bank, Legacy Crop Improvement Center, and Development Bank Ghana.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the Minority on Parliament Finance Committee is questioning what it calls a conflict of interest involving the committee's chairman, Isaac Adongo, who also serves on the board of the Bank of Ghana. They argue that Adongo's dual role raises concerns about the independence of the committee and present a structural conflict. Speaking to Citi News, the Nshaiso MP Dr. Stephen Amoah said the minority is probing both the legal and the ethical ground for the Bolgatanga Central MP holding both positions at the same time.
We need to do the needful. We need to, if we have to amend the laws to make it possible for him to be there, well, because he's competent. But if we cannot, we need to adhere to the laws of the course. One of the most important factors that all over the world is considered to be a definitional element of a very stable society, rule of law and democracy, is about adhering to the law, making sure that the very law that confers on us our positions and our discretionary powers, we go by the law. So that is what we are trying to say. And I think we need to look at that. Maybe it was an oversight, but the Finance Committee has the oversight responsibility. And Honorable Adongo, of course, very competent, is the chair, and the same Honorable Adongo is also Bank of Ghana's board member. Definitely, nobody should tell us that this is very conflicting. And the law is very explicit.
You heard the Member of Parliament for Nshaiso, Dr. Stephen Amoah, still on the minority. They are also calling on the Energy Minister, John Jinapor, to focus on resolving challenges in the energy sector rather than raising alarm. Their comments come after the minister revealed at a recent energy sector retreat that the country had just 2.6 days of fuel reserves at the time. Addressing the media, ranking member on the Energy Committee, George Kwame Abuaji, said the caucus believes the minister is doing more complaining than taking action, despite subsequent clarifications issued by his office.
We acknowledge the financial challenges in the sector, but leadership is about solutions, not excuses. The minister must, 1, stop the fear-mongering and focus on fixing fuel supply issues for IPPs, that's independent power producers. 2, engage stakeholders to renegotiate burdensome take-or-pay contracts. 3, strategically set KPIs for ECG and NETCO to reduce operational and distribution losses and improve revenue collection. 4, address challenges of the cash water flow mechanism and enforce it. 5, diversify energy mix with renewables and gas optimization, that is maximum Jubilee and 10 fuels to reduce reliance on imported fuels. Encourage off-peak consumption by industries to frighten demand curve. Accelerate the rollout of smart metering to curb theft and increase revenue mobilization. We also understand and know some of the challenges are forex related and believe the current appreciation of the Ghana Citi is an opportunity to recover some losses in the sector.
That was the minority spokesperson on the Energy Committee, George Kwame Abwaji. Meanwhile, the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapor, has dismissed claims that he's lamenting the country's power and fuel supply challenges. Speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, John Jinapor clarified that his recent appearance before Parliament Energy Committee was not an expression of frustration but an opportunity to present facts and propose actionable solutions.
We haven't grumbled. What we did was to talk about the issues. First of all, we didn't invite the press. Let me just put that on record. And nobody went to try and talk to the press. Parliament invited the Energy Ministry. Let me even put it, the Parliament summoned us. The Committee on Energy summoned the Ministry and its agencies, and they want a full briefing on the state of Ghana's energy sector, the challenges, and what we do to resolve those challenges. And so I went to a committee to present facts to the committee. The committee decided that the press should capture the facts that we're presenting. And so there was no grumbling at all. We just presented the facts and presented the solutions that we've put across to address those challenges. If the publisher describes that as grumbling, no, I understand grumbling very well. And I don't think that when you appear before a committee and you present facts, unless as minister, I needed to hide the fact.
John Jinapor also added that the ministry has secured 450,000 barrels of light crude oil as part of measures to sustain reliable power supply in the country.
We've placed 450,000 barrels to replace that fuel. I mean, that was statistics. It's not like you gave the figures and said we are in trouble. If the minister had said, because we have two, even if we have 1 day of fuel, and you have stock to replace that 1 day, there should be no cause for alarm. If you have 1 week, and you haven't placed order for fuel, or you don't have a replacement, that should be worrying. So it's not the days or the period. It's about whether you have a replenishing stock. And like I said, we had placed that order more than a month ago. To move fuel from Nigeria to Ghana, it takes some time, and that is what we did. So maybe next time, I have to keep that information from Parliament and just tell them that, look, we've ordered fuel. But they wanted the statistic.
Additionally, the Energy Minister said a second gas processing plant is urgently needed to reduce dependence on light crude oil and ensure long-term energy security.
The issue is that demand is increasing. 300 megawatts every year. That is huge. And as demand increases, you must necessarily increase fuel supply. That's why we are working to bring a second gas processing plant. That should have been done like yesterday, so that we wouldn't have to depend on light crude oil. But until you get that gas processing plant, you must run the plant. The plant must fire. If you recall, in 2017-2018, the complaint was that we had so much gas and were engaged in take or pay for gas, if you remember. Yeah. And the then government was complaining that we shouldn't have signed on to that agreement. And you know gas is cheaper. But now we are consuming beyond even that gas. So we need to bring on a gas processing plant. But we can't also shed load until that period. So we must keep buying some light crude oil, some heavy fuel oil, and some distillate fuel.
Minister for Energy and Green Transition John Jinapor. The Upper East Regional Minister Donatus Akamogri Atanga has led a targeted operation to clamp down on illegal mining activities in the Nanga Sankumbisi Forest Reserve within the Kasinat Nankana municipality. This is the third anti-galamsey operation led by the minister since taking office. During the visit to Forest Reserve, the minister uncovered 3 illegal mining sites now functioning as makeshift gold processing centers. Speaking during the exercise, the minister reaffirmed the government's support for regulated and responsible mining.
The government is not against mining. The NDC is not against mining. What NDC is against is mining that is irresponsible, mining that will affect the health of the people. And so therefore, that is why we are encouraging the youth that if they want to go into mining, why not organize yourselves as cooperatives, and so that the government will come and assist you, and then you do a responsible mining where it cannot pose danger to the health of the people. If you embark on any mining that will affect the health of the people or the environment or the country as a whole, we're bound to put a check on that. That's what we are doing. Not that we are against mining. For instance, if you talk about their mining from the forest, totally, this government is against mining from the forest reserves. And so if you go to the forest reserves, it's not going to be allowed. If you go into the water bodies, it's not going to be allowed. If you are mining at a clear place, then you need to be given licenses so that you'll be doing proper mining. That cannot affect anybody. Our advice to the community members is that everybody should be a watchdog.
Donatus Akamogri Atanga is the Upper East Regional Minister. Former Assistant Secretary at the Office of former President Nana Akufo-Addo, Ibrahim Eji, has backed the Abosokai Spare Part Dealers Association's decision to reduce prices of goods following the appreciation of the city. The association in a press release urged its members to reduce prices to offer relief to customers and support government's effort to stabilize market prices. Speaking on Channel 1 TV's Breakfast Daily, Ibrahim Eji encouraged the spare part dealers to take advantage of social media platforms to promote their goods with revised prices.
It's a welcome call, but it's for the individuals at Abosokai and elsewhere to take heed. Those who are smart enough to lower their prices and communicate it so. What I would want Abosokai dealers to do now, go on their social media and say, look, I'm selling brake pack at this price. Here's my location, and tag your location on the WhatsApp. So when I'm coming to find you, I can find you with my Google Maps and come to you and buy. Similarly, I can buy from you if I trust you. You put it on Okada will come and deliver to me, and I'll Momo you the money. And so I want Abosokai dealers and every other entrepreneur take advantage of the digital space that we have and communicate the reductions you have, the advantages that you can give we, the consumers.
Former Assistant Secretary at the Office of former President Nana Akufo-Addo, that is Ibrahim Eji. Now, the Court of Appeal has dismissed an application by Chief Executive of defunct Men's Gold Ghana Limited, Nana Appiah-Mensah, seeking to halt hearing of his criminal prosecution pending a determination against the High Court ruling instructing him to open his defense. The High Court in 2024 ordered Nana Appiah-Mensah to open his defense in the criminal case he's facing at the High Court for counts including engaging in the sale of gold without license, fraudulent breach of trust, defrauding by false pretense, and money laundering. His lawyers, however, applied to the Court of Appeal seeking to overturn the High Court's decision. Meanwhile, a spokesperson for the aggrieved customers of Men's Gold, Frederick Forson, has welcomed the decision of the court.
It's all well and good, and it's in the interest of justice, and that at the end of the day, it's been given the fair trial which is going on, and we are happy that now the court below can proceed with the trial. And I'm told, I've been advised by our lawyer that while the trial is going on, the actual appeal can also take place, and it doesn't take away any right from the accused person. And so, as customers, we are happy. We have been calling for speedy trial, and I think that is what is going on. Some of us, we've been coming to court, and we've been advised and educated by our lawyers, and so we know that there's a saying that the wheel of justice grinds slowly, but it will surely get to its destination, even though we had anticipated that this case should have been dealt with before the end of last year. But however, justice have its own path, and that is what we are patiently going along with.
Frederick Forson is the spokesperson for the aggrieved customers of defunct Men's Gold. Meanwhile, Nana Appiah-Mensah, on the other hand, has given notice of considering a further appeal to the Supreme Court based on advice of counsel.
It doesn't end here. I mean, we still have the Supreme Court. So we just exercise all our rights, enshrined under the Constitution, the Republic, this beautiful Republic. So I'll confer with my lawyers, and then whatever as they so advise, we'll proceed.
Chief Executive of defunct Men's Gold Ghana Limited, Nana Appiah-Mensah. Now, a 16-year-old Form 2 student of Ose Chirichie Senior High School who was arrested for the unlawful possession of a firearm has reported to the police to assist with investigations. The student was arrested last Wednesday after school authorities discovered the firearm during a routine dormitory search. According to the police, he is currently writing exams and has been permitted to do so, but must report report to the police when required. Meanwhile, his stepfather, Daniel Osubefi, whom the student claims owns the firearm, remains in police custody. Attempts to get the school authorities to comment have been unsuccessful. And that's it for today's edition of the City Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Please log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. I am Hawa Idrisi Mustafa. Have a good afternoon.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.